skip the pleasantries. Go see Jurassic World. That's the short version of this review. I just saw it last night. I got another sneak preview at one of the theaters. It is so good. It's definitely going to be one of my favorite movies of this year, if not the overall favorite. But you don't just want to hear me gushing, you want some details. I will keep this review spoiler-free, to the best of my abilities. If something slips out, I'm sorry, it was unintentional, but you really gotta see this movie. So, okay, I know that there was a lot of concern about this movie going in, because it's got quite a legacy. I mean, 3 movies, only one of which was good. The other 2 were awful. There you go. There are my reviews of the first 3 movies. Love the first one. Big surprise, I know. Second one, really screwed up royally. And the third one, clear that they were making it up as they went. But, yeah, there were concerns concerning a Jurassic Park 4. Especially since some of the earlier ideas were so stupid. But this one, they finally got it right. Again, I should say. I mean, it's better than Jurassic Park 3 and The Lost World is easy. But to somehow be equal to the first one, maybe 1 or 2 steps down, but still on the same level, more or less, that is a Herculean task, and Jurassic World pulled it off so incredibly well. I mean, okay, how to put this? There's a certain... The first third of the movie is sort of metatextual. It's very much in the same mindset as the audience, represented by the 2 brothers. You've got the little kid who's really excited. This is the younger brother. He's really excited to be there because, holy crud, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are so cool. I love dinosaurs. I want to see this movie so badly. It's going to be so cool. And then you've got the older brother who's jaded and like, yeah, whatever. I'm 16. I'm practically an adult, so I don't care about any of that. And he's not impressed by anything. He's very much in the realm of, yeah, show me what else you got. And then you've got the people who are actually running the park whose mindset is very much in the way of, you know, people don't just want to see these things all over again. Dinosaurs are old hat. What we want to do is take all of this in a radical new direction that it has never gone before and is completely contrary to everything this franchise was built on, because that's what the audience really wants to see. And, at the same time, you've got certain people in the park who are going, you know, why would you do that? The first park, that was completely legitimate. It was a great thing. Why would you want to change that? And of course, they're not really talking about the park. They were talking about the movie. So, yeah, for the first third of the movie is actually right there with you. I mean, it's questioning whether or not it's actually going to pull it off. And then, of course, the Indominus Rex, which is the new dinosaur, breaks out and everything goes to hell. But, well, I mean everything goes to hell within the story, I should say. The movie stays great. And also for that first third of the movie, I have to admit, full confession, even though I knew things were going to go horribly, I wanted so badly to go there myself. I wanted so badly for there to be a real dinosaur park. To have a SeaWorld exhibit with mosasauruses and a petting zoo where I could pet a baby triceratops. I mean, for crying out loud, science, why aren't you getting with the program? Jack Horner published a book a couple years ago all about how you could reverse engineer a chicken into a mini raptor. Why haven't you done it? But enough about me complaining. The movie. The movie continues from that point on to the metatext actually continues to a certain extent. I don't want to give away too much because some of it is spoilers, but let's see. You remember the Jurassic Park 4 plans that were completely scrapped in favor of this one, thank God, that involved dinosaur soldiers? You know, the stuff leaked online about it. If you can look it up, probably. But there was a legitimate plan at one point for Jurassic Park 4 to be about the Army using dinosaur soldiers. In fact, some of them were meant to be dinosaur-human hybrids. That's addressed in this movie. I kid you not. There's no evidence of that in the trailers, I know, but that is brought up, and that's all I'm going to say. I might have to do a separate video that's all about spoilers, if you want it, because I don't want to spoil anything here. But yeah, they bring that up, and there's a part towards the finale, during the finale actually, that is very much a here's what we think of Jurassic Park 3 moment. And it is glorious. You'll know it when you see it. So yeah, there's a very clever metatextual layer to it, but more importantly, it captures the spirit of the original movie. Like I said, for the first third of Jurassic World, I wanted this to be real, because it reawakened that sense of wonder. Jurassic Park was just as much about wonder as it was about danger. The other movies, Lost World and JP3, they were all about the danger. You never really got a chance to bask in the glow of the fact that, holy crud, these are dinosaurs. And they are majestic and incredible and unlike anything else in the world. This movie remembers that. Even though it still is going on the idea that the characters think nobody cares about dinosaurs anymore, it still remembers that you still like this. You still really want to see dinosaurs in real life, and this is as close as you'll ever get. So, well, actually, this just popped into my head. Some people were kind of upset when the trailers came out because the movies were ignoring the evidence provided by recent discoveries. They were saying that they were upset that the T-Rex and the raptors, based on the clips, don't have feathers, which recent fossil evidence suggests that they did. And how dare Jurassic Park not do this, because they are supposed to be the most scientifically accurate dinosaur movies ever made. And when I heard that, I thought, you guys do remember this is the franchise that told us T-Rex can't see you if you stand stock still, right? And that velociraptors were actually 6 feet tall and scary intelligent. I mean, scary intelligent dinosaurs did exist, but they were troodons, and they were, like, really tiny. Not Compsognathus tiny, but sidetracking. So, yeah, even though that argument still exists, for some reason, it's a stupid argument. These are movies. Just because they're more accurate than 1 million years BC doesn't mean they are completely accurate. You want full accuracy? Watch a documentary. The original Walking with Dinosaurs is on DVD. Go pick that up. Not the recent kids movie tripe. But anyway, Jurassic World. Actually, since I'm on the topic of what people were concerned about, the other big concern was the fear of domesticated raptors, because it seems like Chris Pratt's character has somehow tamed them, and people were going, oh great, they've neutered the raptors, there's going to be no threat anymore. Don't worry. They have not been emasculated because they are all women, but they also have not been toned down any. They're still dangerous. They are still creatures that you cannot be sure that. They're still creatures you cannot be certain. I tried to combine certain and sure there. You can't be certain that they won't attack you just because you've picked up a few tricks to make sure they don't. So don't worry about that. The raptors are just as they should be. Now, what else? The Indominus Rex. The brand new dinosaur. That is one heck of a movie monster, let me tell you. They play her quite well. There are all sorts of twists with the Indominus Rex throughout the movie. And again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but something new about it is revealed pretty much at every key moment. That might sound like hyperbole, because anything that's revealed about it would be a key moment, but right when it's important, I guess. So, cool dinosaur. Very good idea, actually, for this particular movie. I don't know if I'd want to see it happen again in Jurassic World 2 or Jurassic Park 5 or whatever they wind up calling it, but it worked here. I should also say, nothing in this movie is original. Like, the ideas all come from somewhere else. Not just in the fact that it's another Jurassic Park sequel, but, let's see, the idea that the park is finally open, that was from Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, which was a park simulator game. And was incredibly fun in spite of that. I played the heck out of Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. It should be a boring game, but there's just something about getting to open that park by yourself. So that idea worked its way into the movie. As far as making new dinosaurs goes, that's actually based on one of the older toy lines. Jurassic Park Chaos Effect. Ugliest dinosaur toys I have ever seen. Some of them were like repaints of older models and some of them were new models, but like they had the ugliest color scheme, neon mixes of orange and green and purple, stuff that looked completely unnatural and did not look good on the same creature. And as far as the new stuff went, the stuff that wasn't just repaints, like you had combinations that made no sense, like a Parasaurolophus and a Deinonychus. That's like, Deinonychus is bigger version of a raptor. Parasaurolophus is the hadrosaur with the swooped back horn on its head. For some reason, let's mash those two together and make a toy out of it. For crying out loud, Kenner, your designers were so obsessed with seeing whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. So, but however, I bring that up because Jurassic World takes those ideas and it plays them actually quite well. But there you go. Jurassic World is the first good video game adaptation because it took Jurassic Park Operation Genesis and basically adapted it. Who knew? And it took the Chaos Effect idea and made it work. It didn't make an ugly, horrible monster. I mean, not that I'd want to see an Indominus Rex charging towards me, but it was an effective monster all the same, like I keep saying. So, what else? I know that I've been gushing about this movie for the most part, and there are certain critics out there who think that the only way you can do a proper review is to be 100% negative, or at least focus so much on the negative that the positive just gets lost in the mix and you give the impression that it's a horrible movie anyway. I'm not naming names, but anyway, I will say that it's not perfect. Just like the first movie wasn't perfect, this movie has some problems as well. Those two brothers that I mentioned, the kids in the movie, they have a story arc that felt like it needed an extra scene. I don't really think this is getting too much into spoilers, but like the older brother, like I said, he's the jaded teenager who's only looking out for himself and is too cool for the room, or at least thinks he is. And the younger brother, they never actually say it. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to have autism or Asperger's syndrome or something like that, because he's really, really, really smart and really, really, really into these particular subjects, but there's also something about him that's clearly different. And like I said, they don't say what it is, they don't really draw attention to it, but obviously you put those two personalities together, the older brother's not going to know what to do, and he's selfish anyway. So there's, over the course of the movie, their relationship does grow and change, but it felt like a scene was missing. It felt like the big brother goes from being the selfish, cynical jerk to being very protective and really wants to stick by his brother because he knows he needs him. But we never got a scene that specifically showed that happening. It's like one minute you want to punch him, the other minute you're happy he finally came around. There's no moment where he's like, wow, this kid, my little brother, he really needs me. He's really going through a hard time, and I've just been thinking about myself. So that's a problem, I admit. There's also a certain subplot involving the kids. Again, not going to spoil it because there's no evidence of it in the trailers. There's a certain subplot of theirs that doesn't actually get resolved, if memory serves. If it was implied to have been resolved at the end, it didn't work because it really wasn't resolved. And it's kind of a big deal because a lot of attention is drawn toward it, and it's a very big issue. The characters the characters beyond those two aren't necessarily the most complex Shakespearean identities. They pretty much stick to their archetypes, maybe go in one or two different directions. That's okay, though. For this kind of movie, you could say the same thing about the first movie, technically. That's perfectly fine. They are likable characters. Those who are meant to be likable, at least. And I'm sure that somebody, somewhere, is going to say that the Jurassic World is nothing but fan pandering. Because there's a lot of stuff that's paying homage to the first movie. Like, there are visual cues that make you realize, oh yeah, that they're referencing the first movie. There are certain things that are from the books that they didn't get into the other movies yet, and they have now, like certain conversations, certain elements, again, not spoiling. And there are certain scenes, like during the final climax, redundant, during the climax of the movie that feel like that it would be that way. They're going to call that fan pandering, fan service, whatever. Stuff that's just meant to be there for the fans and doesn't actually mean anything, and I'm the cynical critic who is not going to fall for such tripe. I'm going to wind up having this conversation again because my very next video going up on this channel is going to be all about the difference between fan pandering and a genuinely good piece of film or animation. But I'm going to say it here as well. Fan pandering is what happens when you insert something in without context and when you force it in, basically. You go, yes, we are coming along, doing our story, here are our characters, we're doing our own thing for the most part. Oh, hey, look, we just plopped something that you really want to see right in the middle of it without any sort of context or... it wasn't even necessary, but it's something you want to see, right? Look, we're going to shove it right in your face. Won't you love us and give us all of your money, attention? And now we'll just keep going. That is fan pandering, where they take out the keys and jingle them in front of you. This movie, Jurassic World, doesn't feel like that to me. There's a lot of stuff in there that I know fans of the original movie and people who don't like the other two movies will love to see. But it's not done in such a way that feels like they're just pandering to us. It feels more like, it's almost like a conversation. It's sort of like, hey, you know that Jurassic Park movie? How do you feel about that franchise? Oh, well, I love the first movie, but the other two were just so awful. Yeah, I know, I feel the exact same way. If I made a Jurassic Park movie, I would include something like this. Dude, that is so cool. You should totally do that in your movie. Yeah, and then I do this scene too. Now that I really want to see. I was also thinking of including this. You sure about that? That sounds like it could go pretty wrong. Well, it can't be any worse than the idea they originally wanted to do. Well, I have to give it to you there. Maybe you could pull it off. I was also thinking of doing this thing. Well, that actually sounds kinda... I'm not sure, but I'm with you so far. Maybe you can do it. And then I'm gonna end it this way. Now that sounds cool. You should totally make that movie. I totally should, and I just did. You just watched it. whoa. That's how it felt to me. It felt like a dialogue almost, which is ridiculous, I know, because it's a movie, it's not interactive, but I would say that is the way you should approach Jurassic World. It's the filmmakers and the cast and the crew saying, we liked this movie as well, we didn't like the other two movies, we're with ya. And as far as another potential negative, not all the special effects work. But even the CGI that doesn't look as good as, ironically, a movie from 1993, still is shot in such a way that it's nice to look at. And there are animatronics and puppets. I want to make that clear. I know the trailers make it look like it's all CGI. There are practical effects. So, yeah, there are some bad things in there that don't quite work, but, I mean, you have to, even the most cynical among us would have to admit it's better than the other two movies. Me personally, I think it is nearly on par with the first. It feels like the first movie with a slightly bigger scale. The first Jurassic Park was a smaller, more intimate movie. It was more ground level, more about certain characters, smaller cast, only a few dinosaurs. This has bigger scale, bigger dinosaurs, aerial shots to give a greater sense of scope. And it's not so much a way of saying, hey, we can do it better. It's more, hey, we're doing our own thing. We're not trying to duplicate the first movie. We're making our own movie. So, yeah. I wanted this movie to be good, and I got what I wanted. And trust me. Well, I guess that's my cue to wrap it up. Anyway, until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni-Viewer signing off.